Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing this 66 Nova Gasser, going to be giving it a two-tone paint job along with adding the details and also adding some custom decals that I had made. Now the 66 Nova, like I said in the previous video, is one of my favorite castings, so let's take a look at it as it makes another rotation around, then we'll get into the build. So off camera, I went ahead and I did drill out the post and I did tap and die them. So let's take it apart and see what we're working with. Nice thing with this one here, it does have the metal base on it. The wheels don't even crimp in, so that saves us time. Got these nice 5 spokes, do something a little special with those. On the metal base here, it does have some details on the headlights. Down below it does have a few details, so after we get that painted up, we will definitely show off the exhaust here. And as you can see here, there's actually some wiring back to the fuel tank, so we'll also show that off too, along with a few other things. Since I did just open this one up a little bit ago, the glass on it is in really good shape. Won't need to do any polishing on that. Now the cool thing is with this roll cage, you can actually flip open the dash here and take the roll cage out. Now, like in the 83 Silverado I did, having that flipped up dash is pretty cool, so then it can help you get to some details. Now, unlike the 55 Chevy Gassers, where the engine is part of the interior, this one actually clips in the bottom there, so you have a full engine bay then. So it does give you some options for that. Now, we are also going to add a few details to the motor, but for now, our main focus is going to be getting this paint off of here. So we'll go ahead and we'll actually scuff it up a little bit, so we'll be right back. Now that I got the body scuffed up a little bit here, it definitely helps with the aircraft stripper to help penetrate through that clear coat that they put on their premiums. So while that's sitting in the jar, we'll set that off to the side, and then we'll turn our attention to the base now. Now there are some nice details on this metal base with the headlights, the gas container up front. There's also a few little details down below also. So we'll make sure we get those taken care of. So we'll get everything masked off here. And one thing that I like to do, especially when I'm doing bumpers when I mask them off, is I'll take my X-Acto knife and actually cut along right here on these bumpers so I can get a nice, really clean edge on them. As long as you're able to do it, I do recommend doing it that way. And we're just going to go ahead and just use some of our testers flat black to cover the rest of the base up. So let me go spray that and I'll be right back. So here you can see that it is just flat black, nothing fancy on there right now. So while that's drying, we'll set that off to the side. And now we're going to turn our focus to this roll cage. Now it is kind of a silvery color, so it doesn't quite go with the theme. So I'm just going to take the Tamiya surface primer and go ahead and spray that. Now that we got the car out of the aircraft stripper, went ahead and we washed it up and degreased it. And looking the car over, I was really surprised that there was only a couple little casting lines right by this back window. But I'm not too worried about it for the style of paint that I'm going with. But I am still going to go over it with a brass brush, so we'll kind of speed that up here a little bit. No, I didn't do anything too crazy on this since I'm not doing a glossy paint job. We're going to be using our Tester's flat black on the body, and we also are going to be doing a two-tone on here. Now I am going to be using the Tamiya surface primer here, and we're going to be doing that for the roof. So the way I like to do it is I like to spray the bulk of the body first so we can get that blended in. And here you can see my main focus was just getting that roof done. So now when I mask it off here, we'll just mask off the white part of the roof that we want it to stay. So I'll let that dry for a little bit, mask it up off camera, and I'll be right back. Now that we got the roof masked off, you can kind of see what I want done as far as the white roof on it. So like I said before, the rest of it we're just going to go over with our Tester's flat black, and then I will be back here in a second after that's done and we'll unmask it together to see the results. Now one thing you want to remember when you're doing two tones like this is you don't want the paint to be fully dried. You do want to be a little bit of a tack yet, just so when you do pull your tape off, the lines can actually bleed into each other really nice, and then you don't run the risk of pulling the black off of there or whatever other color you're using. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this tape off and see how it turned out. After looking it over, I am really happy with the way that the tape worked on this. So we'll go ahead and we'll get everything set up and we'll get our decals out, show you what we're doing. So these decals I had made for me probably close to a year ago and just never got around to doing a vehicle with them. Now since I was able to get my hands on a couple extra of these 66 Nova gassers, I figured this would be the perfect time to do it. So I'll show you here my way that I like to do the decals, and there are other ways to do it. I know my way is probably not the most proper way or the correct way to do it, but it works for me, so you just kind of got to play around with it and see which way works for you. So let's get started here and check it out. Now whenever you're doing water slides, you do want to make sure the car does have enough water on it, so when you do apply your decals, you can still maneuver it around. Otherwise you do run the risk of tearing them. So always make sure you put more water on there before you put your decal on. It's just a little tip that I've learned after ruining a couple of them before. Once you get in place, just take a dry Q-tip and just go over and squeegee it out so you can get as much of the excess water out as you can. That way it does help dry it in place. So I'll get the water squeegeed out. I'll go ahead and I'll do my roof decal, my other side, make sure it's lined up, and then be back here in just a minute with all the parts. So here we have all the parts. Now the wheels, I did do the face of them in the flat black to help match the car. The motor didn't do too much on, painted the heads, the Chevy engine orange, and also added a couple little details, but nothing too fancy. Now the interior did already have a nice steering wheel, so I left that one alone, and just detailed the seats and the center console. Roll cage I did in the white so it helps match a little bit better. And like I said, the windshield is in good shape, didn't have anything to worry about on that. Now on the base we did mask off the bumpers, painted it flat black, detailed some of the details underneath of it. We went ahead and we got our DBC custom license plate from Chuck over at Flying Valiant. This is the first car to get the plate on it, and I love it on there. He did an awesome job. And we just did a few more details. We did the trim around the windows, the radiator, the brake booster, the tail lights, and also the chute on there. So we'll just do a quick once over, make sure we have everything how we want it. Then we'll get it put back together. So stick around for the final reveal. So here it is all put together, and I love the way that this turned out. I can't wait to get my display case with my others. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that little bell for future notifications. Stick around for some glamour shots, and I'll see you guys in the next one.